Hello. Today I'd like to talk to you about the light adjustable lens. At this point, you're probably considering it. And so I wanted to go over the details of using this lens and what it can do for your vision for RLE, restorative lens exchange. So a little bit of background about LAL's light adjustable lenses. This is a technology that was sort of born in 1996 between a doctor at UCSF and a doctor at Caltech. Um, the technology won the Nobel Prize in 2001, and for 20 years or so, it was in clinical trials and emerged as a commercial product by RxSight in 2017. So it's been on the market at the time of this video in 2024. It's been on the market for about 7 or 8 years and with great success. Okay. So the idea behind the light adjustable intraocular lens is that you implant it and you never have to have another surgery again. Um, and the reason is because it's adjustable. When we do the calculations based on the measurements of your eye, there is a little bit of error to our calculations. There's error to everything, but the predictive power is very good, but 90% of the time. But in that, 5 to 10% of the time, we can be off target. And so in traditional lenses, what we call fixed lenses, we'd uh, enhance that and refocus the light inside your eyes by performing LASIK surgery or PRK. With the light adjustable lens, since the target audience is a lot of folks who've had refractive surgeries like LASIK and PRK, who, it's not necessarily the best thing to redo LASIK after having done it once. So this lens, once it goes in, can be adjusted and focus light to really optimize and customize your vision just the way you want it without having to go through another surgery. So, what are the outcomes? The uh, majority of patients are 2015. So, 2015 is better vision than 2020. I'd say, based on our data, about 80% of patients are 2015. So, this is a great lens for patients who are pilots, who, shoot shoot competitively, um, other patients who drive a lot, drive in the night. So it's really good for your distance and your quality vision. Um, the optic is silicon. It's the best optic for intraocular lenses. And the quality of your vision through this optic is going to be superior to your natural lens um, after 45 years old. So the LAL should be better quality than your natural lens after you're in your mid 40s or so, when you're starting to lose that ability to focus light inside your eyes. And the reason is because the silicon optic has just better light transmission than the natural human lens. So what's the trade-off here for there's always a trade-off between quality of vision, which is, you can't get better than the light adjustable lens in that realm. But the trade-off is always going to be range. So the light adjustable lens, particularly the light adjustable lens plus, has range built into it. But it's not enough range in each of your eyes to be able to see distance, intermediate, and near all at the same time. You can get two of the three. So the strategy with light adjustable lenses to get you full range of vision is to offset your two eyes by about a half diopter to one diopter. And that usually will get you seeing really well in the distance, intermediate, and reading up close. Up close, by our definitions, about 12 inches to 14 inches away from the face. So a natural bend in the arm. Any closer, you probably need to wear some reading glasses. Things will become more blurry as you bring things more, closer to your face. So light adjustable lenses is great and can be used for anyone. If you have, it's particularly good for the patients I mentioned before who really need great distance vision and want to be out of glasses for everything else in between. But it's, in my opinion, best for patients who've had refractive surgery. So that's going to be LASIK, RK, PRK, anything that you've done previously to the surface of your eyes to get out of glasses. So when you have had prior surgeries, uh, the ability for us to judge how much what power lens to put into your eyes becomes even less predictable. And so having these lenses is a fail-safe to not having another surgery again, because we can always adjust it if we're off target slightly back to, perfect your vision, just really fine-tune and optimize your vision uh, to your best viewing ability. Um, Are there any differences between the surgery for light adjustable lenses and traditional lenses that are not adjustable? And the answer is no. It's the same surgery. It's the same 5 to 8 minute surgery per eye. Absolutely painless. And then if you're doing restorative lens exchange, you would expect to have great vision by the day after surgery. And not before, because you'll still be dilated right after surgery, so your quality of vision is going to be not so good, just like being dilated uh, for your routine eye exam. So you're going to see halos, you're going to see starbursts. But by the next day, once you've woken up in the morning, your vision, especially your distance vision, will be much better. um, but you have to keep in mind that the lenses that we put in the beginning are not fully customized to your eye. So I usually tell patients that expect about greater than 80% of the way there, but the rest of the way, the 10% to 15%, even 20% of the way, is going to come at the 4 week to 6 week mark, where we're going to be fine tuning that lens to your eye to get your best vision possible. So let's talk about post-op care. We get a lot of confusion about the glasses that we wear after surgery with light adjustable lenses. So let's backtrack and let's talk about why we have to wear these glasses. So RxSight provides 3 pairs of glasses, and you wear them because the way we adjust your lenses is with UV light. UV light is only uh, in your day-to-day lives through sunlight. Unless you do a lot of tanning in a tanning salon, the only exposure most of us have to UV light is through the sun. The sun doesn't have as much UV light as what our light delivery devices use to change the shape of your lens. But we don't want any changes. We want everything as controlled as possible. So we want to preserve the amount of macromers or the chemicals inside of the silicon lens and not have to migrate in unpredictable ways. Um, so we ask you to wear these glasses only outdoors and during the day. So only when there's sunlight. So on a bright day, let's say you're in California in our Daly City office, you'd wear these dark sunglasses, and they're basically just sunglasses. They don't look particularly cool on me, but for most of my patients, they look really cool. There's, these ones, and then I think there are bigger ones for patients who have, larger faces, such as, my face. But for most people, these fit really well. So on a bright sunny day, you'd probably want to wear these dark glasses. On a not so sunny day, you can decide to wear these clear glasses. They have the same amount of UV protection as the dark ones, and the UV protection in all of these glasses is many folds greater than in your own pair of sunglasses. So you shouldn't wear your glasses. You should always wear one of these RX sight glasses that we provide to you for free. So here are the clear ones that you would wear on a cloudy day when the sun, when it's daytime and the sun is behind the clouds. Um, so you don't wear any of these glasses indoors, and you only wear them before your lenses are locked in. So once your lenses are locked in, we don't anticipate there being any more changes to the shape of your lens. It should stay locked in for the rest of your life. You will not need any more surgeries. Your vision will not drip. You will not be in glasses again after everything's locked in. So um, this third pair is a pair that has a bifocal portion. This is for patients who may need that extra boost in reading outdoors. Again, only wear them outdoors, but that bifocal portion, let's say you're an architect and you need to review some paperwork at your build site, then these would be helpful. But indoors, if you need some extra boost in your reading before we're starting to fine tune your reading vision, you can pick up any pair of reading glasses and use those indoors. So let's talk about some patients are concerned that what happens if I forget to wear glasses outdoors and you know um, well, RxSight thought of that and they've put a coating on the surface of your intraocular lens. So there's a coating on the front of your lens and there's a coating on the back of your lens. The back of your lens is 100% UV protected, so no UV light will get to the back of your eye, the retina, to do any damage back there. The front of your lens has a coating called active shield. This active shield can be turned on and off. So turn off when we're about to treat your lens to adjust it and reshape it. And then we turn it back on, and it should protect your lens from stray sunlight in case you forget to wear any of these glasses. But as it would be really hard for RxSight to get this FDA approved so that, you don't have to wear these glasses outdoors, right? Because to enroll patients to do that study, the potential harm to the eye if it didn't work would be you get warped lenses and we have to cut out your lenses and extra surgery. So I don't think they'll ever get FDA approval for it, but in the laboratory it does work and it blocks the UV light to prevent changes in the light adjustable portion of your lens. So while we're on the topic of light adjustments, let's talk about how that works. So your silicon lens, which is this soft, pliable lens, has embedded in it a known quantity of macromers. Macromers are these little building blocks. You can think of them as little Legos. When you shine UV light at different parts of the lens, and we can shine UV light at a million different parts of this 6 millimeter diameter optic. So just think of this optic that's 6 millimeters having a million pixels, and the light delivery device can target each of these million pixels and change its shape to get rid of your astigmatism, to extend its range of the lens, your range of vision, and to treat basically anything that you need to treat in order to get your best vision. Um, and so the way it works is about a month after surgery, when we know that this lens has stopped rotating inside your eyes, it's kind of taken on a permanent position inside your eyes, and that anterior posterior, what we call effective lens position, has stopped changing. So at that point, once your refraction is stable, we can measure that amount of imperfection in your or the amount of need for glasses. And we can then plug that number into the light delivery device, and that light delivery device will automatically reshape your lens to fine tune your vision. So your optometric physician is going to give you a lot of examples of what we can do for your vision to get you completely out of glasses. So remember, your dominant eye is meant for your distance and intermediate vision, and your non-dominant eye is for your intermediate and near vision. So my optometric partners will go over with you, what you like through this, what we call trial framing. And then you'll arrive at a place where you really like your vision, and then you'll walk around the office and really kind of see if this is right for you. And the moment you say, "Yeah, I think this works, and I like this," um, we'll bring you into the room with the light delivery device, and it looks just like one of our examination machines where we examine your eyes. And over the course of about 20 seconds or so, we plug in through the UV light the new prescription that we intend for you to have into each of your two eyes. It's not immediate that the lens will take on its new shape. It actually takes about 48 to 72 hours. So don't expect there to be great vision all of a sudden. Expect it to be there in about 2 or 3 days after that adjustment. Once you've had the adjustment, it's been 2 or 3 days, try out your vision, go walk around, do everything that you normally do, you know, for work, for reading your cell phone, um, go outdoors, go for a hike, see how you like your distance vision. And then if it's fine, then we can lock in that lens. And the lock-ins can start as soon as about 4 days after your last adjustment. And of course, if you feel like there can be more improvement, you can always uh, come back and we'll measure your eyes and do more trial framing to see, how we can make it better for you. You can do that up to 3 times per RX site. By the second time, we've exhausted quite a lot of the polymers, the macromers, and they've polymerized. And so our the amount of macromers left inside the lens is going to be less. And we have nomograms to tell us, how much less, but it's based on a calculation and may not be the actual amount of macromers that are actually left in your lens. So any subsequent treatments are going to be one, less effective, and two, less predictable. We typically recommend 3 treatments or less. And the reason is because once you're on your third and you're asking for a fourth adjustment, um, you may end up with, being more off target because there's just less predictability in the adjustments at that point. Okay, so that's the light adjustment process, and just expect to be dilated for every light adjustment and for the two lock-ins to permanently exhaust all the macromers in your lens, and for the lens to be locked into that power, that shape, and for there to no longer be any further changes. And at that point, after the second lock-in, you no longer have to wear these glasses. So you're done with these. You can put it on the shelf. All right. Um, other other questions I get are, if you're shining UV light into the eyes, can it damage my eyes? And the answer is no. Remember, I said there's a coating on the back surface of the light adjustable lens that prevents the UV light from going further back and harming your retina. Um, so it won't damage your eyes. Um, some patients, and I would say less than 1%, will feel like, the eyes feel little like there's sand in the eyes after the light adjustments. This is typically in patients whose corneas who have a bit of dry eye, and there's a little bit of light scatter on the surface of the cornea. And when that happens, the cornea tends to want to absorb a little bit of the UV light when it's not fully clear. Um, so in those instances, when it absorbs a little bit of the UV light, it can be, akin to having a little bit of a sunburn on the cornea. And what you do is you just use your post-op combination eye drops. And I would say I've only heard that maybe 2 or 3 times, and I've done about 1,000 of these eyes with light adjustable lenses. So it's not very common, but I thought I would throw that out there. So in case you experience that, you know that you can treat that with your combination post-op eye drops, and by the next day, I think you'll be just fine. That also brings up a good point about making sure your dry eye is really well treated before we do the light adjustment. So that involves you taking care to do artificial tears on your eyes to optimize the surface so that there's no scatter of UV light. UV light likes to scatter. Our sky's blue because blue light likes to scatter. Red light doesn't. And UV light is more, it wants to scatter more than blue light because it's on that, further on that end of the spectrum. So if you can optimize your cornea's dryness, it will, it'll make the light delivery treatments much more accurate because, all our intended light is going where we want it to go. It'll also make measuring our eyes more accurate. So a lot of folks with dry eyes, we measure it a certain time of day and we get a certain number. And then we measure it a little later on and it's, changes by, a quarter dot or something. Well, we don't like that inaccuracy. So if you can optimize the surface out of your eyes, it really makes it much more accurate for us to adjust your lens. Um, I think that's all I have for you. This isn't a really different process than, the traditional lenses. I would just say, you know, uh, just just have the expectation that your vision will get better as we do the light adjustments. It may not necessarily be, exactly where you expect it to be right after surgery because, the lens hasn't been optimized to your eye yet. So you may not be able to read fully, at 12 inches until we further fine tune your vision for you. And so you'll get by in that first month by finding some reading glasses here and there for that first month and a half. Um, and when all is said and done, at about 6 to 8 weeks after all of this, you should be out of glasses completely. I'm not saying just these ones, but any glasses. And oh, and the last thing that some patients ask me is, well, what happens if I later on something happens and I want to let's say make both my eyes for the distance after the offset or make some kind of change. Well, that's easy to do too. We once the lens is locked in, we can no longer adjust the lens, but you can always do refractive surgery, so refocus light by changing the shape of the front of your eye, also known as the cornea. So that's done through PRK, LASIK. That's very easy. It takes about 5 minutes to do as well. But I would say again, the goal is for you not to have any more surgeries after. But a lot of patients want to know if they can further adjust this lens later on in life, and the answer is no. But you can change. You can make changes to your vision by doing another surgery, another enhancement like LASIK. But again, the idea is you'd never have to do that. So thank you for listening. Sorry that's taken so long to explain, but I just wanted to go over my experience using these lenses and my patients' experiences, and so that there are, we put it all out there for you. I know there's a lot of conflicting information that you can find on YouTube about how these lenses work and what different physicians recommend, but I thought I would put my recommendations out there. I do things a little differently. I think it's more optimal as compared to sort of the traditional way that this was done about 7 years ago when these lenses first came out. So thank you very much for your time and good luck with the process. You will be happy at the end of those 6 to 8 weeks.